America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.
Other national media have been covering up or bottling
Find
up
out
the
all the
story
wonderful
linking the
things
Nicaraguan
you really can
Contras
be.
to cocaine.
We're going to put the CIA in this country on notice.
I care about feeling good about
that
myself.
if we don't get the documents,
that's why I would never
all them
ever
documents
take illegal
read.
drugs.
The Central
I've seen some
Intelligence
people who smoke
Agency
marijuana.
has been
They
fighting
seem
the
to lose
Contra
pride in
war
their
with
appearance.
the help of
They lose their
international
motivation
drug
to
traffickers.
achieve.
Guns, drugs, and the CIA.
This is your brain on drugs.
Conspiracy theories.
Any questions?
Right.
It is aimed at African American. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. And we're very clear on that.
Kids at that time, right, they would do some crazy things, right, because they had this big fence and stuff, and it was like a 12 feet drop, right, and I had to hold on to the fence and climb over the fence and, you know, and go around and get around in order to get into this lot, right, and I don't know why I played in that lot, right, you know, but I wasn't interested in school at that time. But I got interested very quick after I got that report card home. My father, he said, right, so, and at that time, you know, like, it was like a common thing for kids to get beaten back in that day, right, you know, so it was a thing where I got beatings and you know, I didn't do that no more. I just went straight to school. It got to a point where later on we found out that, you know, that block there that we moved on was the baddest block in all of New York City, right? I mean, the baddest. You know, you had to learn two things on that block. You had to learn how to fight, or you learn how to run, right? Most of the times I did running, you know, right? But I learned how to fight because I didn't have no choice, you know, right? You know, people would say, yo, where you live at? I live on Brook Avenue. What? You live on Brook Avenue? That's a real bad block. I said, no, it's not bad, you know. It wasn't bad to us because we knew everybody. I done got to the point now I'm really acting out as a young juvenile, right? And, you know, and then I'm walking one day and I learned some watching these guys shoot craps, you know, dice, right? And I wanted to know how to shoot dice, and I didn't know how to shoot dice. And everybody's just watching and everything and shooting and whatnot. And the next thing I had pulled the dice up to my head like this. And I said, what's my point? And I'm ready to make a point, and the cop came along and grabbed my arm, right? And everybody ran and left me. Right, and the cop said, where you live at? Right, and I told him where I live at, and he said, okay, I'm gonna take you home to your mother and father's house. My mother opened the door, right, and she seen the police and stuff, right? He said, oh, what happened here? She said, your son was out there shooting craps. What? He was shooting craps? Right, you know better than that. Wait till your father get home. Right, so you know that was a death sentence, the beating back then, right? You know, my father came home, right, and then the next thing I know, you know, I got this terrific ass kicking, you know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was like you know. So I was kind of always from this day on, you know, that type of gambling I really, you know, shied away from, because I remember how I got disciplined behind it, right? You know, past the marijuana, there's cocaine and heroin and other things like that. And that's when we found out, you know, that was a quicker way to make money. But we didn't realize that we're killing our own people, right? You know what I'm saying? So I never stopped hustling, right? Because hustling was a second income. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I worked, right? But hustling was, you know, I would work during the day and during the week and hustle like on the weekend.